For years, Silicon Valley believed she was building the future of medicine. Billionaires invested hundreds of millions of dollars. Presidents praised her. Patients trusted her with their lives. But inside Theranos, the technology never worked. This is the story of Elizabeth Holmes, the woman who built a $9 billion empire on a lie. Elizabeth Holmes was born in Washington, D.C. in 1984. From a young age, she wanted to change the world. But more than that, she wanted to become legendary. She admired Silicon Valley founders like Steve Jobs, not just their inventions, their mythology. At Stanford University, Holmes studied chemical engineering. Professors described her as ambitious, intelligent, and unusually determined. But in 2004, at just 19 years old, Elizabeth Holmes dropped out. She believed she had an idea that could revolutionize healthcare forever. Her company was called Theranos. The promise sounded almost impossible. A single drop of blood, hundreds of medical tests, no needles, no waiting, no large laboratories, just instant medical results from a tiny machine called Edison. If true, it would transform medicine forever. Investors were mesmerized. So was the media. Theranos became one of Silicon Valley's fastest-growing companies, and Elizabeth Holmes became its prophet. Holmes understood something very important. In Silicon Valley, stories can become more valuable than reality. She lowered her voice. She wore black turtlenecks. She carefully built an image that reminded people of Steve Jobs. And it worked. Powerful investors poured money into Theranos. Rupert Murdoch, Larry Ellison, the Walton family, former government officials, military leaders. None of them truly understood the science, but they believed in Elizabeth Holmes. At its peak, Theranos was valued at $9 billion. Elizabeth Holmes became the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world. There was only one problem. The technology still didn't work. Inside the company, employees were living inside a different reality. Machines failed constantly. Blood samples became contaminated. Test results were wildly inaccurate. Some patients received false cancer readings. Others received incorrect HIV results. Real people were making life-changing medical decisions based on false information. Employees who raised concerns were threatened. Some were fired. Others stayed silent. Fear became part of the company culture. One former employee later described Theranos as a place built on paranoia. In 2015, a journalist named John Carreyrou received a tip. At first, the story sounded unbelievable. A $9 billion company, possibly built on fraud. But as Carreyrou investigated, former employees began speaking in secret. What they revealed was shocking. Theranos was secretly using traditional blood testing machines made by other companies. The Edison device, the machine Elizabeth Holmes claimed would change medicine, was unreliable, sometimes unusable. Patients believed Theranos was using revolutionary technology, but behind the scenes, the company was desperately trying to hide the truth. In October 2015, the Wall Street Journal published Carreyrou's investigation. The illusion began to collapse immediately. Government investigations followed. Business partners abandoned Theranos. Regulators discovered major failures inside the company's laboratories. Patients filed lawsuits. Investors lost hundreds of millions. The company, once valued at $9 billion, collapsed towards zero. The empire was disintegrating. In 2018, Elizabeth Holmes was charged with fraud. The woman once celebrated as the future of Silicon Valley was now facing prison. During the trial, former patients described emotional trauma caused by false test results. Former employees described manipulation, secrecy, and fear. Holmes claimed she had been controlled by her business partner, but prosecutors argued something much darker, that Theranos was never a failed invention. It was a performance. In 2022, Elizabeth Holmes was found guilty of fraud. The black turtleneck disappeared. The mythology collapsed. Theranos no longer exists. The revolutionary machine never changed medicine, because it never truly worked. But the story of Theranos revealed something deeper. In Silicon Valley, belief can become more powerful than truth. And sometimes, the most dangerous technology is not a machine, it is persuasion. This was the story of Theranos, one of the biggest deceptions in Silicon Valley history.